Tornadoes, man. Y'all like and share the video, man. This is about to be
No, I was thinking
this is about to be
because
a powerful show. See how we reading each other's minds?
yeah, because I'm thinking to myself like, especially with the childlike spirit and how this is why I brought up earlier in my story of how it gets shut down as an empath, as a healer, as those natural born, healers and empaths, and there's nothing wrong, like I said, people who develop it later in life, but I feel like it's just a different energy signature on people who are born healers and born empaths. And, I feel like that energy is kind of like a lot of us are born into families that have that kind of tough dynamic where it's like either super religious or nobody talked about it at all as far as a relationship with the creator is concerned, or either us having a knowing and not being able to pinpoint it, and so I feel like a lot of us with those gifts young, they're shut down so quick, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, you didn't see nothing, or no, you didn't, and especially, you know Aboriginal, indigenous, you know what I'm saying, Native American people of color, all of us, you know what I'm saying, in
Mhm.
our family dynamic, it's like, oh, we don't believe in that, or we don't see that, or we're just not going to talk about it, or we're, and it's a lot of that, and you're like, we shut that part of it down. So our imagination becomes limited, and our ability to connect with source becomes stifled. There becomes a disconnect in that energy. So as we get older, and like I said, there's no way to get rid of it. So as you get older and that feeling comes back around, because it does not leave you. It hasn't been a moment in my life where I felt like I didn't know what I knew. Even if I can't always put my finger on it, I always knew. And it's so much deeper than, you know, I don't feel the same. It's like there's really no words for it. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like you just know
Mhm.
something and you know it. It's almost a I'm not from here type of thing. I used to feel like that all the time. Like, I'm not from here. Like, I'm really not from here, and this is just getting more and more uncomfortable. But that disconnect happens, and so we try to build that up. And as those yearnings happen, and you get that tugging and that pulling on your heart chakra, and you're like, no, this feeling is coming back again. We try to rebuild that. So keeping, I feel like that childlike spirit is learning how to keep um that wavelength open, keeping that portal open between you and the God within. Um, and that's how we stay connected. And so one of the things, like, simple things take me back, like reading books, like illustrated books to my child, that always brings me back to my childhood. I used to love to read books, and reading that brings me back to my childhood. So getting back to the point, I think a lot of people can almost pinpoint when they stopped tapping into that child essence, because I feel like a lot of us also were forced to grow up very quickly. So when you're forced to grow up, it's like almost wanting to enjoy certain things and can't, or feeling like you're too old to do that anymore. And it's like, even in the example of Michael Jackson, someone who was forced to grow up, and someone, who just like, damn, I just want to go play for a little bit, like never having done that. And then we go back. It's like a regression of like, no, I missed that piece. That piece is important. That piece is important and vital to my being able to grow successfully in my mind, being able to visualize. And so for me, even color, I color with my child. We'll go outside, we'll do chalk, I'll do jump rope, just very simple things that you feel like you had to put away too soon. Or, oh, we get told you're too old to do that. You're too old to be playing with puzzles. You're too old. And we hear that. And when you hear that you're too old, you're forcing yourself to move ahead of something before you're really ready to, versus saying, let me be in this energy right now. Let me watch some cartoons in my drawers, and let me eat some cereal. And, sometimes if I want to bring that childlike spirit, I'm like, okay, son, let's get some cereal. Let's do some, let's color. Let's just sit here. I'll sit here and watch cartoons with him and Power Rangers and everything else, because there's a piece of that we yearn to get back to. Because for those of us who were first to grow up, you missed out on a lot of that enjoyment of it. And for those of us who had that connection with source cut off so young, you're missing a piece. And so it even now for me, I have to go sometimes and watch cartoons just to help with my visualization. Sometimes I'll go and color just to bring that back to the forefront of my mind. Sometimes I'll lose what a color really looks like, what a color really feels like when I'm trying to visualize white light coming into me. If I'm trying to visualize pink light coming into me, and I'm like, I can't even visualize it. I don't color no more. I don't do those, so I have to go, let me pull out these color crayons and let me just, you know what I'm saying? Let some things flow. Let me paint. Let me do these things that will help, because you need that. So for me, I did color therapy baths, right? So I went and got this, there's these little bath fizzies, right? And they're Sesame Street bath fizzies. And I originally got them for my son. And he was out of the house for a weekend. And I was looking at, my root was off. And I was astral projecting spontaneously. I could not stop. And I remember hearing my guides tell me, like, you need to stop astral projecting. And I was like, okay. So I was like, let me strengthen my root. So I took one of those colored bath fizzies, a red one, threw it in the bath and meditated, and just sat in the red water and meditated on my root chakra. And it was like, it's a little bath fizzy, cost 99 cents. You know what I'm saying? And I felt good being in that bath. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of those things, like, we're so scared to get into this child, like, it's like, oh, we're too old to do that. And I feel like that stifles us, and being back in that childhood energy helps us to manifest on another level. It takes us to another space. It takes us to a place of innocence within our spiritual lives, where the divine can be open to communicating you without so many blockages, without these walls up, without this, anything hindering you. So I feel like doing that can be so powerful, so that's one thing you can do, as far as rituals go. Taking color therapy baths, go, and whatever, I practice it with, like, I did one for the root, one for my solar plexus, and one for my heart chakra, one for my throat chakra. Get a little pack of, colorful bath fizzies. You can get it from the store, get it from Walmart, Target, whatever. They got it in the baby bath section. And you could literally drop the color in the bath and take it as if you were taking a spiritual bath, and meditate on that color. And I'm telling you, you will feel the power of that chakra being strengthened. And that was one of the things that I did. And it was something that literally Spirit just dropped on me, like, take a color bath, get yourself together, and I'm like, okay. And that even helped me with my visualization, because getting in the tub, seeing the color, being able to wash myself with this color frequency now made it that much more intense. Whereas I'm walking down the street and I'm like, damn, I haven't, been in my imagination. I haven't been connected to source. So I don't even have the power to bring this light into me right now, because I can't see what it looks like without looking at it, because I haven't for so long, so I think different things like that can be very powerful as far as helping us to manifest and helping us to bring a purity to what it is we're doing spiritually.
Facts.